Salutations, my rainbow feathers. I'm Phoenix Wordlamp, and welcome to my channel. Every 2 weeks I do a reading for the half moon. I believe that the half moons have a special magical potential, being in the liminal place between a new moon and a full moon, and I think for that reason they deserve more attention than they usually get. So with that said, what we do here when we do these readings is we first go through a bit of the astrology, and then I go into the tarot to see what additional guidance needs to be shared, and then I occasionally will pick a spell card to get an overall energy, which we'll be doing today. So without further ado, let's get into it. This upcoming half moon is on September 5th, 2019, and it is in the sign of Sagittarius. This is going to be driving us forward. We are going to be feeling more energetic and optimistic and wanting to pursue our goals, those goals being rooted in our fundamental beliefs about the world and our understanding of it and our place within it. Our own philosophical positions, so to speak, are going to be driving us forward, and we will be wanting to take more action in pursuit of our goals. This will be a very energetic and optimistic time where we will have that boost to our faith in ourselves or in our higher powers or what have you to help us move forward. Now, the moon will be squaring a few luminaries. Now, of course, it's squaring the sun. That is just what a half moon is, and that is going to be, of course, in the sign of Virgo. The other luminaries that the moon squares are Mercury, Mars, and Neptune. Now, this is going to overall, like all things considered, going to create kind of a very confusing state of mind. We may feel very clouded and unsure. We may have difficulty in communicating what we want to communicate, and that might frustrate us a bit more than usual. We may feel a bit deep within ourselves, which will be, as we're trying to move, full speed ahead on our paths, we are going to be deep in our own mission. So it's going to be very difficult for us to be as perceptive about the world around us. So that might lead to a bit of confusion. However, the moon will conjunct Jupiter, also in Sagittarius, which is in the sign it rules, and it will be for a while. And Jupiter has recently gone direct again, so that's great, which is basically showering more luck upon us and potential for growth and expansion. So despite the fact that we may be feeling a little clouded and unsure, we are going to be feeling lucky, and we're going to be lucky, and we're going to be ready to pursue our goals with this sense of our own personal growth behind it. So of course there are a lot of other aspects between other planets that occur on that day. However, I like to only go over the lunar ones that I think are important, because this is about the half moon in particular. So with that astrology out of the way, let's see what the cards have to say about what we should be aware of this coming half moon in Sagittarius. So let's get to it. Alright, so we have the Star in reverse, the Chariot, and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Alright, so I always find it very interesting when the Chariot is in the center of two other cards, because it often will indicate a choice in this sort of position. Normally, it does relate a lot to this sort of full speed aheadness that we're getting from the moon being in Sagittarius, of wanting to just go forward. As we can see, the person in this chariot has a straight road ahead of them, but we can also see that this person does not look quite sure of themselves, and the unicorns, yes, unicorns, are facing in opposite directions. They're kind of at odds with which direction they want to go, even though it seems that there's only one path ahead. on either side can indicate what choices are needing to be made. So on the one side, we have the star in reverse. The star, when it's upright, is about hope for the future. It's about integrity and being true to oneself. It's about listening to the messages and the guidance from the higher realms and having hope and having faith in that. When it's this way around, it can indicate a sort of difficulty in this area, which means that one of the choices you're considering right now may be something that you don't have a lot of faith in succeeding. You may be afraid to take this direction because you feel like not as confident in it. Like you're not being as authentic as you might want to be when you do this. Maybe feeling a little bit out of place. So that's one thing. We'll get more into that in just a minute. But the other side, we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And when this is upright, this is indicating hard work and perseverance and determination and sticking with something with like single-minded focus. When it's this way around, though, what we're looking at is difficulty in maintaining that focus. Like I mentioned before, there might be a lot of confusion surrounding this half moon, and I think that this is what is going on, because you have the Chariot right between these two reversed cards that are kind of your obstacles in choosing either of these things or both of them. You know, this could be part of the same path. You know, both of these things you're trying to decide what to devote your focus on right now. One of them you might feel a little inauthentic in doing it right now, maybe you feel unprepared. The other, you're thinking, well, I don't know if I can commit that much time or focus or energy to it. And you're doubting yourself in that way. So let me get some perspective on how you can overcome these obstacles. Alright, so we have on the one hand Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and on the other hand we have Judgment. So, Ten of Pentacles is our response to our not feeling so hopeful about this on the one side, whatever this choice is, whatever is resonating for you as far as what you're feeling a little unprepared for or a little, unsure or not, doesn't feel real to you on this side. What you're being advised to do if you want to go in this direction is not think as much about where you've come from. I think for some of you this might have to do with family. I'm getting family pretty strongly here, and I think that if you have family that is giving you the impression that you need to have such and such training, or you need to have this much experience, or you need this much schooling to do a certain thing that you have in mind, then if your family is influencing you on this, with this in reverse, I would say it's probably not as good of advice as they think it is. Even for people who are our elders, that we may trust a lot of the time, sometimes they're not right. And you have to really get in touch with, well, what is actually realistic here? And don't think too much about the influence of them. Now, this might not be family. In some cases, what this might be saying is, because you see we have this person going up this stairs, and they're climbing up to the top, and they have this abundance with them, with this cornucopia, and they have everything they need to climb up towards their goals. And you may be feeling like you're not there yet, like there's some sort of material thing, this sort of lack of abundance that you feel you need in order to move in that direction. But what I'm getting is that if you don't start, that abundance won't get there anyway. So it's good if you're thinking about choosing this to start with, to focus on. It would be good not to worry too much about having everything you need to start, because it's not necessarily necessary. On the other side, now this was the other choice we had, and this could be to focus on the nitty-gritty of our work, like what we're trying to get done in order to pursue these goals we've been talking about so far. Now, I'm getting that maybe you're feeling a lack of focus. You're feeling it difficult to be focused, which is very likely over the course of this kind of cloudy and confusing half moon we've got. So to deal with that, if you're going in that direction to something you feel like will need, whatever it is resonating for you that feels like would need a lot of attention and focus and detail orientation, this, if you're trying to go in this direction but you're worried about your focus, we've got judgment. Now, judgment is a calling. What I'm getting is that for many of you, this is simply a calling to focus on this first, that this is definitely the right way to go here. Usually I would leave that open to you guys, and it still is open to you guys if you feel like that's not resonating with you, that you'd much rather go the other direction first. By all means, use your free will. You always have that. This, however, is for a majority of you saying that whatever this is that you might be afraid of doing because of all that nitty-gritty, and you might not be feeling confident in being able to put the kind of focus necessary, this is saying do this anyway. This is a part of your path. This is a part of your mission here, what you have chosen to do before you came to this earth. Judgment also indicates rising up from a state of decline. So if you have had some difficulty in this area recently, where you've been having difficulty focusing on the tasks necessary to follow your dreams, to follow your goals, this is going to change for you if you accept that call and you actually turn your attention in that direction. You will find that when you are following the right path, it's not necessarily going to be easy. I'm not going to be one of those people that are like, oh yeah, all doors will open for you, because that's not necessarily the case. It can still be very hard, but it will be more synchronistic. You'll have more synchronicities appearing in your life. You will, I don't know, maybe you're one of the people that sees patterns of numbers, and this might come up around whatever decision this is. Maybe you're one of those people that gets a lot of synchronicities in their life, and when that happens, you know which direction to go, and this is one of those things. It's saying, hey, this is a direction you're going to want to follow to get towards your life path quicker. Now, this is not a solution, this judgment thing. It's not saying that, oh, to just follow this will relieve you of the difficulty in focusing. That, I believe, is still going to be a struggle either way, but keeping in mind the end result and where you want to be by the end of all of this work will do you wonders in following that direction, if that's the one you choose for yourself. With that all said, let's go on to some oracle advice. The first thing I want to look at, and I pulled these beforehand, is some Moonology cards. I recently got the Moonology deck. A lot of readers that I love to watch and read myself use this deck, and the Moonology deck is lovely and is great for use for these sorts of things. However, the Moonology deck does not have, like, obviously, because most don't focus on the half moons, it does not have half moon cards for every sign. So what I've done is I've pulled out the previous new moon and the next full moon and the simple first quarter moon card. And I want to just read off the text to you guys and give you an impression of where we've come from and where we're going in this kind of liminal place that we're in. Now, The first one we just came from the new moon in Virgo. Now this card reads that it is a time to give rather than take. It may have been beneficial to us to this time to be generous and giving and to shine our love and appreciation and gratitude into the world, which is great. At this point, with first quarter moon, your commitment is being tested. And I think that's what a lot of this confusion that we're going to be experiencing this half moon is going to be doing, is going to be testing our commitment. And this is going to be the case every half moon in the waxing phase, first quarter, because this card is going to always be there. But it is always kind of a time of commitment testing. So when we are setting our intentions in the new moon, and then working towards them up until they release their energy and manifest around the full moon, we have this intermediary period where we're kind of slugging through the middle. Slugging through the middle is always a little bit challenging. And when that happens, we might be tempted to abandon our commitment to whatever we've set our intentions for. So at this time, we're going to have just been giving and giving and giving a lot. And we may be feeling like, wait, am I getting anything in return? I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep being this way. But in reality, we are manifesting something, and we just have to have patience and dedication. So, upcoming is going to be the full moon in Pisces. And this card reads, to balance spirituality and practicality. Now, for a lot of us, this sense of giving and being grateful and generous is coming alongside a sort of spiritual awakening process, or maybe as part of a long-term ongoing spiritual awakening process, and that has been weighing on us, of course, and so we may be very deep in the thick of it, and like I mentioned before, we may be very deep within our own missions and our own goals right now. That may be causing us to kind of ignore the practical side of things that we're really going to need in order to accomplish our goals as well. So it may be good to focus on getting that balance. Now, the last thing I want to do today is draw a magical spell card to get an overall feeling of the energy for this coming half moon cycle. So let's get into that. Alright, we have Inspiration. Now this says, Isis, goddess of magic, I ask thee to bring your inspiration to me. Now, if you work with goddess, or any combination of goddesses, actually using this chant as a prayer, as a mantra, would be very helpful to you. If you do not work with divine entities, then it is perfectly acceptable to modify it as you see fit in your spiritual practice. But I think this makes a great overall mantra for this upcoming half moon, with all this energy of our own personal passions driving us forward and getting us going. To have this sort of magical inspiration on our side would be amazing and excellent. So with that all said, thank you so much, all my rainbow feathers, for joining me here today. I really appreciate you joining me at the table, and I hope that this reading has resonated with you and will be helpful to you in this coming half moon. If you would like a private reading with me, you can head over to my website at phoenixwordlamp.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. Links will be in the description. Be sure to check out my website at this time during this half moon, because I currently do have a sale going on due to the generous energies of the previous new moon still going on. So if you want to check out my sales on all of my specialty readings for colorful souls, including LGBTQ folks, including polyamorous folks, including pagans, witches, and other spiritual people, I have specialty readings tailored to your experience. So head on over and check them out during this unique sale, and I will see you guys in the next video.